everybody, welcome to the VALORANT Game Changers North America presented by Verizon. Today we determine our final 4 teams qualifying to that main event Series 1. But joining me on the desk, by the way, I'm your host, Lemmy Kiwi, whatever. Joining me on the desk for the first match is Gomp Nation and Sir Rivington the Third. What? Gompers, do you want upbeats? Why are you sitting like that?
Uppy.
No. Riv. Your ears.
He looks like an elf right now.
How are we doing? Hi everybody. How we doing today?
You're
right,
so baby girl right now.
I'll take your uppies. Thank you very much.
Oh, she uses the force. Riv is gaining height.
All right.
Glad everyone is doing so well today. Riv, how does it feel knowing that you were casting esports while Gompers was in the womb?
You know, I dreamt of these days when it would all come together where there was just so many people commentating. Didn't matter who it was, where they were, there would be someone to take the call up. And then it would just still be a fantastic show and production where we could act like children.
All right, children, gather around because I have to tell you about our top 5 fraggers of the day from yesterday. We had some good matches. We had to say goodbye to some teams, and we qualified for ahead. Here's who popped off the most, and I'm looking at Kari, the top Katie, almost to making a lower bracket run today. She's going up against Team Karma, and Kari was dropping like 20+ kills on Killjoy yesterday. They'll need her more than ever as they seek a qualification spot. But Gompers, out of this list, only 2 teams qualified.
Yeah, and those 2 teams have the most cracked duelists, by the way. I just want to let you guys know really quick. You got Fluorescent, you got Keensy. And listen, I feel like if we're talking about aim, if we're talking about just the overall impact these 2 players have as duelists, it is insane. I feel like Keensy and Fluorescent are honestly on the same wavelength because it's just very chaotic. I could probably add Bunny B up there on that list as well, to be completely just flare blank with you. But everybody on this list is just full-blown chaotic duelists, just running in, not caring about the consequences, but all the while winning out on those fights. And obviously, you can see why they're the top 5.
Yeah, honestly, I always remember casting with Vansili and just screaming Keensy's name in these star power plays. So I'm excited, and honestly Fluorescent too. But I'm excited for everybody on this list of how well they were doing and how well they're still doing as they move on in the tournament.
And great transition point, Gompers. Speaking of Bunny B, we're gonna see her more today because our match being featured on stream first is XSET versus the Generators. Yeah, that's my team. Jen, yeah, I'm on the roster. I'm the CEO. I'm also a host on the desk. It's whatever though. We're in the lower bracket, 2 matches away from qualifying 4 more teams to that main event. Let's start with XSET though. Let's hype up this roster, that rebuild from last year. Gompers, big names on this team, Katsumi and Bob from Cloud9 White. Is XSET looking like a powerhouse to you in North America with this roster?
I think if we're talking powerhouses in terms of what XSET has brought out, I think they're looking really solid. But if we're looking at what happened with Akumu, I feel like that right there and having fun, they seem to be struggling just a little bit. There are other very reformed rosters like version 1 or even rosters coming up like Evil Geniuses who are just dominating across the board. But I think XSET being a newer roster, playing against people that they haven't played with before, with Katsumi and Bob being the only 2 players coming from C9 and taking down that responsibility spot. But I think Bob, I think Katsumi both offer some really great advantages to this team of XSET. I think they offer some very, very great knowledge on, what these teams are, who these players are as well, because they've been through it all down on C9. They've defeated countless times everybody that they're playing against today, and they're trying to do it again.
Well, Yeah, XSET are looking super strong. Katsumi and Bob, all that hype behind Cloud9. And Bob can maybe contribute more. Wonder if they're maybe IGLing, but either way, they brought a lot of comms to Cloud9 White back before. And then Katsumi able to flex to different agents playing Duelist. But Riv, XSET had a surprising loss against Akumu and bracket play. You see that series on your screen. What led to their demise on like Haven and Split? Should people be worried about XSET today?
I think XSET kind of fell into a pit of not being able to figure out how Kumu wanted to play. They played super safe. So XSET was always facing a 5 retake, or at least losing 1 when there was a push and Akumu could read the map really well. I think that's one of the best notes I had for Akumu, is that drilled retakes made it really hard for XSET to have solid post plans. And that kind of tells you that the XSET may be setting up differently in these, taking that portion of their gameplay a little bit different coming into these maps, because I think that's where they got punished the most. So I think Akumu may have helped them expose a few of the flaws they needed to see before going further in the tournament.
Yeah, and this early on with XSET being one of those newer rosters as well, this is the first debut we get to see them. So that's hence why I said, it isn't that domination yet, but I feel like it will come with due time. They've learned their lesson coming through from Akumu coming into this game. I mean, the biggest thing that Akumu was just the adjustments to XSET's repetitiveness down on Haven, down on Split, and they just played so well against it that you really did see that back and forth coming through, where Akumu just over time started getting more comfortable with the way that XSET was playing, and actually eventually just Dona walled some of their ults and just didn't care that it was there, and actually baited it out majority of the time. So I feel like here XSET again learned their lesson. They're not going to be stepping into this with the utmost confidence, but at the same time they're going to have a lot of respect for themselves, for their team, and for the amount of effort and work they've put into playing against that game, and now coming into this one with their heads held high.
And yeah, Akumu is a surprising team. They're sitting in round 4, and they're waiting the winner of FaZe Clan and Valaris for that qualification spot. But zooming back in to XSET versus Generators, one traitor, one former XSET member finds themselves on the Generators. I'm obviously kidding, grown past that. Starry Bun is a former XSET player now on Generators. Riv, do you think that insight into her former team would give the Generators an edge?
Maybe a little bit. It's definitely changed quite a bit since she was there as well. You can actually, if you look at VLR, still in the inactive roster, so you can see it's like there was the remnants there. Is the knowledge still there, right? I think it's going to be quite a change up, but it'll be nice to go against the organization, so there'll still be that kind of fire under Starry Bun to keep it going. I mean, all of Generators is comprised of teams you've most likely heard of, and Chao, CLG Red, Jan Immortals, Tasty and Supercat, and San Reno's. This is a team to kind of be worried about, especially if you just got taken out, they're watching your games, and you're trying to make that lower bracket run.
And I mean, Gompers, when you go to a new team, at least I'm thinking, the weaknesses, the strengths, maybe some strategy. But Generators have big names of their own too. They got Chow from CLG Red, Jen from Immortals, unfortunately not me, she is way better, and Starry Bun from XSET, of course. Gompers, should people pay more attention to Generators and to this roster after making these big roster changes?
Oh, absolutely. I think Generators, they've made it this far, right? And this is the moment to really make your mark, because that qualification spot is going to be big, and XSET is fighting for it. But the one thing I've noticed is with Generators is, again, talking about those teams, they have powerhouses of their own. I think Supercat is a tremendous player coming into this, and not to mention Chow, consistently top fragging, consistently being, just that open lead for the team to really create that impact, that opening space. So I feel like here, when you're looking at a team like Generators, XSET should not be taking them lightly, although I feel like the play styles do differ, with XSET playing a bit slower. I mean, with Generators playing a bit slower on the attack, I feel like XSET's really going to profit off of that, and quite honestly, Generators, they might have to change up their play style a bit against a team like XSET.
Play styles is something we'll dive into once we figure out our maps, but a head-to-head we should look into, Riv, is Katsumi versus Tasty on the Duelist. Now, Katsumi maybe played more controllers back in the Cloud9 days, but she's always been known as a flex player, a lot of weight on her shoulders, but Tasty has also been putting up serious numbers for the Generators.
There really has, and there's kind of two different stories to be told here, right? Where Katsumi's coming in now on the jet, still finding the comfortability, looking to use that operator a little bit more, and at the end of the round doesn't seem to be happening. You see that 0% on the clutches, as opposed to Tasty, who's a little bit more, I'd say, leveled throughout the delivery of the rounds, whether good taking out and going down in the beginning, getting the first bloods, or being needed for that clutch percentage at 35%. So it comes down to, I think, how we're feeling today, because this head-to-head is going to get spicy, and it could really go one way. We did see, who was it? I can't remember the jet. Evie giving Katsumi a hard time, from Akumu. So hopefully Katsumi's kind of rounded that out and feels a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like just an important narrative point, Gompers, is the difference of experience levels between, Katsumi, she got the resume, she got the gold medals everywhere.
That's so true.
And Tasty is breaking.
That's pressure.
That's a lot of pressure on her to still perform past Cloud9. And Gompers, Tasty, she's still trying to break into game changers.
Yeah, well, we put Tasty on the spot, so now the pressure's on, right? No. Yeah. But overall, Tasty, right? They're an amazing duelist regardless. And you're looking at Katsumi, they're kind of starting to get a bit more accustomed to that duelist gameplay with a competitive roster due to the fact that they still actually play some controller from time to time, locking in that Astra. So when you're thinking about it, Tasty right now is going to have to be that really big impact for generators if they want to get past what Katsumi's offering either on that Astra or what Katsumi's trying to offer down on that jet. On the attacking side, Tasty's going to have to possibly play with that up, try to push up, gain some of that control to deny all of these pushes coming out from Katsumi. So it really is going to be that head-to-head against, what duelist can really push through for the team.
Well, there's a head-to-head happening in the maps as we have the picks and bans all ready to go. Let's see what everyone has picked and really gotten rid of. And we've seen some fun compositions. We'll jump into that in a second. Generators, pick Pearl, XSET, pick Split. Riv, starting with you, Generators had some really fun, unique comps yesterday to shake up their composition. Anything from double duelist, double sentinel, no initiator, triple initiator, even on Ascent.
Yeah.
Do you think they could surprise XSET based on these maps?
Their Pearl seems pretty even. Double controller. They're making sure they can get in and out of sights and maybe even keep a wall consistency at one, hit the other. Gompers, I'm excited about Split. Generators has a pretty good consistency there right now, but I think XSET feels like that may be one of their strongest. So that could have a big head-to-head on our second one.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Pearl is actually going to be an exciting pick for me personally, because I believe Dryad actually was like, how do you feel about their Phoenix pick on Pearl? And to me personally, Dryad's going to hate me for this. I love Phoenix. I think Phoenix is such an amazing pick on Pearl, especially for XSET. I think XSET's going to have to pull that out, not for their sake, but for mine. I really want to see that Phoenix and the potential they have.
But Gompers, one thing I was kind of curious about, and just in terms of the meta in general, Bob from XSET in the early matches ended up picking Gecko, I believe against just the early qualifier teams. What have you learned about Gecko in this meta, and why haven't we seen him too much?
I feel like with Gecko, it's a bit more difficult of an answer. It's such a new agent that we actually haven't even unlocked the full potential yet, and it feels like it really is only worth just some of the util to really invest in. And at this point, it's like, are you thinking, okay, how much impact can I get with Gecko? Well, you can get those occasional diffuses under the circumstance that the util isn't overexerted, or, oh, hey, early information would be great here. But overall, you can do that with anyone, right? The only impact I feel like Gecko offers right now in this moment is, the diffusals that could possibly come through, the plans, assistance with that to allow more hands on deck. Yeah, the little wingman. But overall, I think, it's the same thing, right? It's okay, we have the wingman, but what else does this offer? And it's more so trying to test things out than playing it at such a big qualifier.
Yeah, and Riv, speaking of that XSET comp, it was against Smarter Cookies. It was 13-1, super early in the bracket. Maybe trying to experiment some things. Their composition was around the double duelist. They had Raze, they had Jet, Sky, Gecko, and Omen. I know we didn't get to see that match on broadcast, but what do you think they could be experimenting with? Are you expecting it to see against such a tough team like Generators, or is that like a one and done kind of for fun?
I would like to see it again. I think Gecko, we've heard it from players in EMEA and all over the world right now in leagues that Gecko is super strong, but it's caveated with, but have we had enough time to play it? So there is that. Is the timing correct? Is the guiding light hitting? If Dizzy's going out correctly, is the smoke timings there and the follow-up when these scale into sight. All of those things need to be talked about because, as Gomper said, we've seen teams just try to go for the wingman over and over, and wingman gets shot, and then they're like, wait, well, we didn't really have a secondary play to go through this round. So it can get a little tricky if you just try to go for Gecko this early and you don't have more than a few things planned. Yeah. So I expect to see some fun stuff, but maybe not the Gecko. I'm hoping for it.
Hoping for it. Just going back to the comfort picks, but this is an uncomfortable situation, Gompers. We're in the lower bracket. There's only 4 spots left, and out of those, the 4 that did qualify, we have Shopify Rebellion, CLG Red. That was a really fun map 3. I recommend everyone to go watch that VOD. Evil Geniuses version 1. But Gompers, looking at this lower bracket, who are some teams that you're looking to get those final spots on? Just kind of naming a few: FaZe Clan, Valaris, XSET, Team Karma. What are your big favorites to move on to the final 4?
If I was looking at favorites, I feel like something I would genuinely like to see, and just because of that history with, Katsumi and Bob, XSET, watching them play through it, complexity for sure. I feel like this roster actually has tons and tons of potential leading up to the, main event. Just because this team looks very solid in terms of that cohesion. So that's definitely something that I want to continue to see. But overall, honestly, I do also want to see Ariana Grande Perfume, right, come up to that first place spot. They've been qualifying for that main event continuously, and they've been showing their just stride into that victory spot. And with the potential with C9 no longer being into this whole entire tournament, no longer kind of giving that obstacle for Ariana Grande Perfume, again, I feel like with the practice, with the time, with the minus addition of C9, there is more potential now for teams that aren't necessarily signed to make it to that first place spot.
That split up really, it kind of like bolsters other teams and gives everybody a way to improve in that situation. It's awesome to see Ariana Grande coming this far, and I still do think we see XSET in that lower bracket going to be putting up an incredibly strong fight. There's a lot of resilience to that team. They've been together for a bit now, and they can pull from a lot of veteran status, international status, to make sure that this lower bracket run is kind of like the second serve, right? You fault on the first serve, you're just coming in to get it inside the box, and you go for a little bit over par. So I think that's where we're going to see them start to focus.
And it feels like Complexity yesterday got boxed in. Speaking of that exciting match, they dropped 1-2 against CLG Red. Riv, we watched that. Our hearts were just beating out of our chests. Complexity are waiting for the winner of Team Karma and Newt. Are you worried at all about Complexity? Obviously their weaknesses were exposed by CLG Red. Was that an off day? Are you confident in Complexity qualifying today?
Yes, I actually have a lot of confidence that they will qualify. That was such a tight game yesterday. I was losing my voice towards the end. We were just saying that people were on a different level of just clicking heads. It was very orchestrated from everyone. And if they continue to do that, if they continue to play as much as a team they did yesterday, Lace with clutches, Jazzykins with plays, Claudia and Raze, I mean, you have to shout out the whole team. And they can flex so well between their agents. So I think it becomes an even stronger team in that sense. Learn from their XSET did here, and they're going to be coming in like
I'm excited to get through this. We're just waiting for one player to join our lobby, and then of course we're going to send it into game as quick as we can. But Gompers, out of our 4 teams that did qualify, we have, you know, Shopify, CLG Red, Evil Geniuses version 1. Is it just so solidified in your mind that Shopify is the #1 team in North America, considering how many roster rebuilds we saw? I didn't get to ask you this question. I was teasing Vans and Riv about it, but I want to get your take on the powerhouses, the juggernauts to beat in North America.
I think they are going to be a powerhouse. I mean, listen, this team went to the grand stage, right? They went to that Champions and they almost beat Chi 2. They were seconds away from a victory, but it was taken away. And that's one of the things that you have to remember. You don't go to championships and get that second place spot for no reason. But do I think there is potential for somebody else to take it away? Absolutely. Version 1 is looking solid, and it really does feel like that rebrand of C9 White. So you guys should look out for that team as well.
Ooh, we got so much talent in the lower bracket. But you know what's not talented? The internet. The people not getting to their lobby. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of my bobbing head trying to come up with questions. So we're going to throw it to a music break because that's very entertaining. And when we get back, we'll have our casters, Tanner and Dryad, ready for map 1.
Welcome back, Valorant fans, to the Valorant Game Changers presented by Verizon, where our desk broke it all down, then we jumped away for a quick second. Now we're looking to jump right back into it. My name is Tanner Metro. I'm joined, as always, by Dan Dryad. And Dryad, we've got an XSET team that is leveled up in superstar power versus a generator squad that is seemingly, if not upsetting people, pushing these really strong teams to the brink.
Generators being the underdog on this Game Changers for sure, but now they have one last task, and is to take down XSET in 2 maps, and he's going to start on Pearl. One of the things that the desk was talking about, that we were also talking about, was the composition for XSET, because it's been, you know, I like saying creative. You know, they're playing the Phoenix, they got Bunny B and Phoenix, and they have this double controller. Usually when we see the double controller, if it's going to be with a Harbor, it's also going to be with a Viper. But we gotta see what they have planned here for XSET, because honestly, very, very unique.
Yeah, and if I had to choose whether or not Katsumi was playing Harbor, Astra or Viper, I think I would put Katsumi on the Astra. I think there's a lot of comfortability there, especially in the post plants, and on a map where, I guess if you're looking at the A site, sure, there are some lineups to play, like snake bites and stuff, but the Astra, you don't have to worry about that, right? You can just put the star down, hear the tap, play the pull, and go from there. So it is a very interesting comp. We'll get to see how it's played. Fortunately for XSET, they are starting on the attacking side, and if this Phoenix is going to do anything, it's going to be in this first half.
And one of the things, of course, that you can do with the Phoenix is going to be those walls that, in a way, and just for the quick entry, is going to serve like a Viper wall early on for the entrance of XSET. And this is what you have to be expecting XSET, a team with so many star players, Katsumi and Bob, last year playing internationally for Cloud9. They need one more match to qualify for the main event. They have to be the favorites here, and they need to perform to the level that everybody is expecting.
It's very high expectations. Coach Danimal still working with the squad. Was from the original roster, now moved on to this one, who is familiar with the player on the other side in Generators, that being Starry Bun, who has sent their wall out to cut this mid in half. Toxic screen not yet used, and Rise, no information found yet.
Just giving a little bit of space as well towards feeling after that Shining Light doesn't spot anybody else. The matches so far for XSET vary back. 2 of the 4 that they played have gone to 3 maps, and this is the point where you learn from those mistakes. You want to start off in the best way possible. For Generators, the other way around. Starrybun as the IGL, trying to lead the team to success, to the main event, something that she's been a part of before.
And it was only 1 star here out towards the B side to try and keep everybody safe, but you're just not safe from the Bunny B as Panday collects another. It's Starry Bunt to trade it back for 1.
Oh, it's a 2v4 here. It was the silence at the beginning met by the aggression early on of the Phoenix, and it is exactly what we're expecting. Last player alive. Chao actually trying to have a performance here. 1v2, still doable.
Still doable, still healthy as well. Unfortunately, gonna have to dig these players out of their positions. Running forward, Sheriff shots at her back, and Bob will get the job done. So it took a second. It was slow at the start, but XSET finally find a home on this B site and take the pistol.
And another player here to talk about for generators, I got the chance to mention it a little bit more, is Starybun. We got to see her last year so many times, making it to the main event. She was also on the desk for challengers recently, so just kind of the brain of this team in every way, and the brain in general. Again, you're going to have to rely a lot on her to lead this new team that has been putting up a fight against teams like Evil Geniuses, like Misfits, and even if they don't end up on a victory, it has been a great learning experience. Even for XSET, when they lost that one match, one of the things that they talked about is losing equals learning, and for these two teams, they already know what losing is like in this open qualifier. Now is time to apply all that learning into this match.
Oof, in an early rotation from Tasty. I guess arguably at the wrong time, because it seemed like XSET wanted to lean out towards B. None of the audible cues were heard, but with that, they get a little spooked by the silence of XSET, and now they spread themselves once more across the map, that being generators on the defense.
And again, very early patience that we get to see from XSET. This is something that they've done in other matches as well. They're comfortable with it. I mean, the utility to get that entrance into side, either whether that's B with the Cove and the Harbor to get the plant, or is a little bit faster thanks to the Phoenix. They have so many ideas, and this is what makes this composition so interesting.
Chow, good timing. Recalled the stars, had him up just in time as they worked their way onto the side. Bunny B gonna get stuck inside the whirlpool for now. No defenders directly seen, no attackers directly seen. All the sight lines are cut off as that Cove goes down. These pistols gonna have a hard time dealing with that. Out goes the Cascade, and once more, sight lines have been removed by the defense as XSET look to back away. Katsumi finds herself stepping forward, finding a kill onto Jen. Bob will grab another. And one by one, this defense starting to be whittled away here. Katsumi still gonna get aggressive, make it 2 kills on the round. Chow just around the corner, and
One enemy remaining.
just not long for this world. They're on the hunt now. XSET will take this one flawlessly.
It looks so clean as well. It's so much utility invested on both sides early on, as we got to see on top. The Astra utility literally being the star maker here and delaying that push. Then you have the Cove to get the plant. And the Harbor utility on the other side of the wall just make it impossible to get that swing and make it a little bit easier for Generator. So 2 rounds now for XSET.
In the first couple of rounds, we'd seen Chow early placing down these stars, just having them in set positions. Now that they've got rifles in their hands, only having a couple set, so 2 more to play with across the map. It's loud out towards mid right now for XSET.
It's a heavy presence towards lane that we didn't see before, like you mentioned, because now they have the rifles. They can give a little bit of more space. The alarm bot is going to be the first one to make contact, and after that, you can see from that Viper and that Sky.
Both Cascades used, and Bunny B on a solo mission, getting caught with utility out, trying to upgrade. The weapon was Rise, but Jen there to punish.
Yeah, immediately everything going according to plan for this defense. Again, the alarm bot, the first one there in the swing there for Jen was perfect. Leaving 3 players alive for XSET. Spectres in their hand.
Spectres, which means run and gun. Very dangerous, and that's exactly what happens. Meanwhile, the defenders down to the final 2, and they're split so far across the map here, Dryad. And it's just the pick of the litter here for guns.
Yeah, and I mean, now you have everything. The economy, when it comes to those rifles,
30 seconds left.
for the last 30 seconds remaining is even. And yeah, I was going to say, Tasty has been pushing on B side. Never really got the chance to spot anybody. But on the other side, there's actually Chow doing the same thing. So that means the site is going to be clear for plant. What XSET don't know, though, is where these 2 players are going to be coming from.
10 seconds left.
Fortunately, Harbor utility allows for both cover and concealment. Chow back here on the position, but again, split from the teammate Tasty. Stop that flank all the way down through the attacker spawn. Now back into the defender spawn. And it looks like it might be Tasty first to contact here.
And again, this wall is going to be so good. It's going to create a little bit of delay. The swing can be in time. Is not going to get anything
Enemy
here.
remaining.
I think they hear Katsumi too. Beautiful stars, beautifully done by generators. No way for Bob to even get involved in the play, leaving Katsumi in the 1v2. That right there was masterful in the retake.
It was so close though between the two teams, especially towards the end, towards that post-plant scenario. But of course, it's going to be generators getting away with it. And the idea, though, obviously was good for XSET. They had the right plan, but there's only so many spots, especially after seeing that wall, where you can be hiding as the Harbor. And of course, it's going to be Secret. Ended up getting taken down. It's the first round for generators. It's an expensive one, though, for sure.
Expensive in their full buy means a couple of Bulldogs into the next round. Meanwhile, XSET went back to the armory, and they're bringing just about everything that they would need. They've also got that Cosmic Divide, which we know at this point, Dry had so many options, whether it be hitting a site or faking a hit. Katsumi really has, I guess, a good hold on this round. One of the largest tools to help win this round.
I'm still waiting for a little bit longer after that Harbor wall. But yeah, like you said, when you have Katsumi having the ultimate, there's so many good chances for this B entry. And the utility itself, this unique composition by XSET, is just enabling them to go into this B site over and over again. Getting that safer plan for the Cove. Concealment! And being comfortable as well, waiting for this mid round before going for it.
And one wall used, sure. I think XSET might be trying to fake that they're hitting this B site with time to rotate, but look at the defense. Yeah, generators know everything.
30 seconds left.
This right here is a difficult spot to be in. Finally, that Cosmic Divide does come through, but the defense is hot on their heels. Chow just holds down mouse one, and here comes that flank. It's tasty to get it done for 3, and XSET, they try to play with the mines. Unfortunately, things do not go their way as the spike is just out of reach as a snake bite at the ground, and Panday needs to tap away. And the grid shot just does not present itself. It seems like the save is the call here for XSET.
Yeah, there's nothing else they can do. And generators, they're going to make things even. 2 rounds now going their way for XSET waiting around. We got to see it for the longest time. 4 of the players into the early round playing towards B. The one holding that mid control was Panday. Ended up regrouping with the rest of the team. And that was the green light for Tasty to do just that. In the middle of KOs with 30 seconds remaining. That's when the Jet is going to come through from behind. Nobody expecting it. Especially because with the lack of time, they needed to clear those angles quickly. And that wasn't really happening.
No, not at all. I want to go back and look at that round to see where that apprehension had come from. Because, yeah, they were just tossing out utility with nothing behind it. Eventually, it became too late. And they just had to hit the site. And with that, round 5 is a similar start. 5 players or 4 players out towards B. Still have the lurk from Panday. And similar util used here on this B site.
Very similar. But you have to be expecting that one change of the pace. And this is, I mean, for XSET, it still looks very coordinated into these attacking rounds. Even though they're waiting around, this is all part of the plan, kind of to sell a fake. And we got to see it last round. Obviously, it didn't work out, but yeah, they're gonna change around, leaving only Katsumi into everybody else going towards Link.
Panday so cheesy with that cam. We'll find a couple of good spots that catches players who might be trying to take space away from XSET where they don't have it. And that camera made Starry Bun change her mind. Now Bunny Beat on a solo mission once more.
Left.
Flashes themselves and unfortunately finds nothing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Super Cat deals with the first of XSET.
Wow. Yeah, it's an eco around here. And I was wondering if we were going to see those ultimates come through. Especially that Reckoning from Bob. It's going to clear out that space, though, but you need to convert these. For XSET, throughout this Open Qualifier, it's been very, very difficult to convert these eco rounds into thrifties, into thrifty victories. So now they have a chance. It's a 4v5.
Yeah, set up perfectly though. Panday on the backstab will find Sorry Bun. Bunny B gets another, and this one going swimmingly for the attack thus far as Panday continues to fight forward. It's now all up to Chow and Super Cat to try and reel this round back in for the defense. The weapons weren't the best, but Generators just might be bested. That Cosmic Divide to go down here shortly. A Star goes down, the util to work around for Chow. A tap on the spike, it's more Sheriff shots, but Chow is out of time. And Bob will play the paranoia game. The kills for the defense, but the round to XSET.
That is so good from XSET. Again, the percentages of them winning not only the eco rounds, but also the 4v5s were so low before this match. It is for sure one of the things that the coach had to be talking about. The IGL had to be talking about how we can improve, how we can use the lost rounds into their learning experiences. And one of those is a good way to start them off and to get that early lead. 3-2. Good investment as well. Understanding the value of that reckoning from Bob.
XSET's eco round win percentage was 11% on the tournament thus far, so a huge win for them to have, obviously, in this game to take the lead, but now they've got heaps of momentum, especially since those knives from Tasty are gone.
It's a little bit of a trade here, though, so Rise not gonna be alive for those flashes. A little bit more of support. Bunny B is so looking comfortable. It was a good way to clear out that side without running back.
Wow.
Again, XSET is a team that they're going to be comfortable waiting around. They have these timings down. Those 45 seconds, 50 seconds, that's when they're going to take action.
And a Trailblazer out towards mid, spots nothing. That toxic screen, it really seemingly working in favor of Panday, who's crept all the way up through Art now, will eventually be this last leg of the play for XSET. They haven't quite gotten this spike planted. They're going to send Bunny B with 5 HP deep into enemy line.
Seconds left.
Oh, the timing. Just perfect on the other side for the Cypher is going to enable as well that neutral theft. Everybody spotted, and the buy wasn't the best for Generators.
I mean, I guess you do take away from this one that you were able to get a couple of ultimates out, right? Run it back on for Bunny B. That's a huge threat in the early round gone, you know, moving forward. And also getting that neural theft out. Good damage as well. Starry Bun. If she could find one before falling, it would mean that that Viper's Pit will be online for the defense. Unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case. So XSET head for the hills. Let that spike blow. Starry seemingly will do the same, picking up that Phantom. XSET have now doubled their lead.
Just looking at positions as well, we already talked about XSET a little bit more, but because Generators is playing that standard comp, that means that the heavy ultimate rounds, it should be benefiting them in the long run. And you said it, a lot of those ultimates got invested last round. And they're not even the strongest. The reckoning maybe from Bob might be the one that you're looking and you're keeping your eyes on. But now you're going to have a lockdown from Super Cat. A Viper's Pit coming in very soon. And as well as a Cosmic Divide. Those three are by themselves stronger than what XSET has. But what makes this team different is that the heavy utility that they're able to invest into these rounds. Into the later round more than anything for the post rounds that have been effective so far. Have given them 4 rounds. And a little bit faster now.
And that Skydog proving to get lots of value here on both sides, just being able to clear out mid. A lot of these corners where you are expecting a player. So with the dog, the Trailblazer, out for XSET, they're just going to walk their way down. Bunny B, the tip of the spear here.
You have 1 star. Frisbee long. Nobody's going to be pushing from there. It's going to be the turret. Take that early contact. Still need the Astra here.
Wow. Panday is having a fantastic game, always finding value in these lurks. And just when you look, or you turn to look around at what's happening to your teammates behind you, the havoc that is being wreaked by Panday, the site is being taken. And just like we saw, both Chow and Jen gone early in this one. And how daunting of a retake is this? Tasty's not even involved.
there's been different ideas for generators kind of predicting what this exit push is going to end up on. And it's just unfortunate that we haven't been able to see the early content from Tasty, right? That was the one round where they were highlighted a little bit more was that flank. And I think that's something we can expect more. But the operator has been waiting for the opportunity to pop off and to really show off on that A site. And again, it is a defense team that has gone for different attempts. It's just XSET having the upper hand. But again, I think with this composition, when you have the Harbor, when you have the Phoenix, all these walls to deal with, you have to be expecting a B push more than anything else. This time around, though, it was towards Link, so a little bit harder for generators to kind of read around.
Placing sentry.
I guess maybe surprising at how passive they have been playing for this space out towards mid, just allowing Panday to really walk around and do whatever she wants. Same thing out towards B long. Nobody really looking to take those aggressive fights like you mentioned. It's been B for the majority of the time for XSET. This time we finally get a feint out towards A. Tasty on this angle once more. This is where Tasty started the round, last round, and it's where they ended. It's where they start here in this one. We'll see
Yeah.
if there's a different result.
There is going to be a lockdown now for Super Cat. Had it last round. Didn't get the chance to use it. The buy wasn't the best. Now maybe having a better opportunity for that retake. Just with that.
Oh, here we go. Finally some aggression out this way. Camera dealt with. No tag, but again, Panday's cam has been just enough. I want to force him off these angles. We'll see if that dog actually clears anything. No, it doesn't. Tasty plays the box perfectly. Finds first blood, and there's Jen for the second.
Oh, that's so good. Displayed around
30 seconds left.
Dog just fine. 2 players down now for the kind of exit. And the time once again running out. We saw it before in a couple rounds. The go is the second round. You're definitely not expecting Chao to be in this position. A 1v3, 15 seconds remaining for Rise.
Straight. 10
That
seconds
1v3
left.
quickly becomes a 1v2. Seekers 2 flashes and a regrowth that doesn't matter, unfortunately. Oh, the dog's coming out. There's just so much. Rise was hoping to get out of that situation, but not the case. Tasty finally grabbing some value with that operator, and it also means the round for generators.
Good round. Good answer as well for generators. Kind of being patient, even when they push towards mid to take down the camera. They're making sure that they're going for these trades at least. At least going with 2 players, trying to play it together. And it's going their way. Again, generators, the underdog for sure on this matchup, on this open qualifier. I've been getting some surprises. Push Evil Geniuses to a map 3. And now they can start with a map victory against XSET, though they still need to at least match those 5 rounds that XSET have. Again, going for something different towards this A site. Making sure.
Yeah, doing their due diligence. Clear everything.
You never
Double
know.
clear the box. Because, yeah, you never know that Tasty might have danced around it again.
The only one in front of that wall is going to be Tasty again.
Look at the defense, so this time they actually take the space out towards mid,
I've
up
got your
into
trail.
market. They have to know that this hit is heavy out towards A, just based off the positioning alone. Panday on the complete opposite side of the map, and well, here come all the special effects to try and take the site for XSET.
30 seconds left.
Well, can rely a lot on this Cypher for exit. As the spike goes down, the first kill, once again, going for this attacking team. Oh, it's all about the timing here.
And Bob gonna continue to layer that utility out towards A. High tied up, Cascade follows. Super Cat, though, they get themselves 3. Okay, this one looking doable as Panday gets revealed by the alarm bot. Out comes the Cosmic Divide. A Cage is there. Jumps over the top of Chow. Completely unsuspecting a player there. And this was an XSET round until it wasn't, Dryad.
What a round for Super Cat as well. Gets 3 kills. And immediately shuts down the positioning that XSET thought they had, that they were comfortable with after Bunny B got the first kill. I mean, so good. And it was the duel of the 2 Sentinels at the very end. Panday tried getting a timing, tried catching, but the one thing that caught Panday was the alarm bot from Super Cat. Shot down at the end, and I was about to say the lockdown was available. It wasn't invested right away. When are we gonna see it? But I mean, the kills were just enough for the Killjoy.
I think it's also a great note that because we're rocking the flash intel of the sky for both of these teams, most importantly for XSET, that lockdown, there is no way to deal with that one. So
yeah,
that will be earned full respect once it does eventually make its way through.
Just the stronger ultimate. Oh, that could have been 2.
I mean, it basically was. Katsumi has 2 HP.
Wow.
Healing over here.
It's gonna be fine. A little more health for Katsumi, but I mean, that has to be 2.
Ooh, that's heartbreaking, but good damage. Trailblazer comes out. Bob is gone.
No.
That Trailblazer. I know we said the puppy doesn't bite, but that one.
Cage triggered.
When you're that low, it's definitely gonna bite. It's definitely gonna hurt there. It's a 3v3 scenario. And one of the things that we talked about, this 2 ultimates way stronger now.
30 seconds left.
Bun and Super Cat. And everybody here for this defense gonna be playing it together.
Yeah, a nice little back and forth, but again, 9 rounds into this one. I guess this is round number 10. Including this, at least 7, Panday has been detrimental in figuring out how XSET can make plays, whether it be kills across the map or even this one. Walking up towards B, finding a kill here and saying, hey guys, I've got this site. Why don't you join me on it? And that's exactly what they do. The 3v3 is clean as can be, and XSET will find a 6th.
And with the 3 players pushing there, it's also good realization from XSET. Just to hold them to these positions, go for the 2 players swinging at the same time and make it a clean 3v3 to deal with. Again, XSET up by 2 rounds as we see a timeout on the other side.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to mention Panday's name again, but I mean, golly, if she is not doing a lot for the team. Not everything, but the lurk has just worked. Every round. I don't know if there's a round where Panday hasn't found a successful lurk. Maybe it hasn't ended in a round win, but Panday's there. Out towards mid, gaining space into Art, late lurking into B-Link, finding backstab kills, just always being a problem. The thrifty round that they won was Panday finding a gun, working her way all the way through spawn, getting a couple of backstab kills. There's just been, I guess, no threat. Panday is playing a single-player game, and there's no monsters on the other side. There's no bosses. It's creative mode, it seems, right now for Panday.
It's only 1 round where we got to see the Killjoy from Super Cat kind of getting the best of it. Getting the best of the Cypher. And it was just all about the timing to play it out. But yeah, like you said, the positionings and the early round for the Cypher has been great. It's something that XSET is incredibly aware of, especially when again you're running this kind of composition where everybody's kind of playing to their strengths with heavy utility invested into the site. And now look at this. Tasty has been on this A side for longest time. Now it's towards B. And very early on, this is not where XSET wants to go.
No, not at all. And you see Generators not quite ready for this one. Look at that setup inside Link. If you so much look in that direction, you are toast. And that could be the fate of Panday. That run it back gets popped, and Bunny B looks to clear out this A side.
Who's gonna be waiting it longer? The Cypher, though, is gonna get spotted towards mid as the fight goes on. The Spike's gonna be planted.
Spike planted.
And Spike planted. Good response there, though. 3 players working their way through Link. Now linking up with what would have been the 4th as Chow finally gets dug out. Had given up this A site previously, but here's that lockdown that we talked about. Full respect given over to this bit of utility, and Bunny B gone as they tried to sneak away with that Spike. There's options. Dryad planted in an awkward spot. Players art, players flowers, players secret, and that's exactly where the fight starts to go as another one looks to hop on. A backstab from Supercat could be all that they need, but generators are running out of time. The Spike is halfway, a Nano Swarm available. It's low HP on the opposite side. Rise is dead, but the round, how does it go? Not in favor of generators. It's XSETs once more.
Oh, it
Last
was,
round
again,
in the half.
so close between the two. The fight towards mid to start us off into it, and it goes back to one of the things that you talked about, right? This Cypher just having the perfect lurks, but slowly but surely generators have been more aware of it. Shot it down early on, then went for this retake with the lockdown. And as we see, as the time not being enough for that 1v1. 7 rounds now for XSET, and they go back to his B side. No operator for Tasty.
And no up
The
here.
Blade Storm.
The knives. The knives, but the reckoning. That's the counter here to this one. A couple of knives go wide, and Tasty, unfortunately, cannot reap any rewards on the knives. There's the Trailblazer go out. The Jetlies go by Jen, and she's been unspotted. But unfortunately, this round's still a difficult one. A player down, Dryad. 2 Bulldogs, a Stinger, a Sheriff.
It's rough.
Beam rack.
Where is everyone hiding?
Nope, gives a little more space early on. Is have getting 1 kill before getting shot down, but still, the buy not the best. A Bulldog, the hands of the IGL, and committing for this Viper Spit, has been holding into it for so long. And this is the last round. It's not even gonna get a Spike.
One enemy remains.
Yeah. No time, no space. Unfortunately, kind of a last-ditch effort in tossing out the
Switching
Viper's pit.
sides.
An awkward buy. That buy never feels good in the last round of the half, and it goes away. That XSET were expecting 8-4 at the half, but this was the side we were expecting Bunny B to really pop off. And if there was another player that we highlighted right in that head-to-head, now it's Tasty's half.
Yeah. They didn't really get the chance to show off too much.
Where is
Just kind of the different setups. And there were a bunch of setups here that generators had. But just wasn't the right time, right place for you. Now, as sides, it should be a little bit easier. And you want it to be a little bit easier if you're on this side, on the attacking team. Starts off with a pistol.
Poison Cloud out. This will allow for some space. Starybun will also be able to pick that one up. The site cut in half. Diagonally. Like a sandwich. Meanwhile, Supercat is hanging out in spawn. Oh, no way. If it was one, Supercat gets the kill. Unfortunately, 2 targets pop up. And Supercat is now 6 feet under.
There's gonna be 2 players, but can you capitalize though out of these numbers? The first
All
one,
of
and
the
yeah, Katsumi gonna get it.
All of them have gone back this way. Katsumi is literally walking into the stack here in the post plant and walking out with frags. Unfortunately, the rest of the team, they don't have that success, but they don't need it. The Red Bull clutch through the defuse for Panday.
Oh, you took the end the wall to make it a lot easier. And that's just not the way that it meant to go. Katsumi though, being the insane distraction.
Clutch.
All the
Last
way
player
back.
Standing.
For the time to be enough, the swing was too late, and it's a Red Bull clutch for XSET. 9 rounds now. It's an expensive, so now it's a force for the attacking team, not the way that they wanted it to go.
And that is one of those hard to swallow pills.
Poison orb emitting.
Oh, I kind of like this. I like because when you pick it up, there's a little bit of activation time on this poison orb that you can pick it up, cross, it goes down, your team can cross with you, you toss it out again, and so very flexible is Starry Bun with that poison orb. And with that last round being as close as it was, they force up and they go right back to it. Very similar situation.
And it could be really messy here. Spectres on both sides. Not really spotting it just yet for XSET. It's a matter of time, yeah.
And the wall will allow for a few members to make their way through. Tasty was spotted, courtesy of the Trailblazer. Now the Blaze Wall goes out. Bunny Bee wants to fight on through it. Nano Swarms are down. This time not on the side of XSET. Beautiful flash there. Jen is gone. Turret gonna get some extra info. As somebody's got to get on that spike. It's going to be Panday to do it. Held it down last time. Can they do it once more? It'll be close. No, the util just too strong. And again, the kills, they go the way of generators. But this time, it's the round that follows as well.
It was just right. The stars, the snake bite on the other side, the nano swarms, all the delay, all the force at the end that pays off. What a round at the end. And XSET, we got to see Bunny Bee for the longest time just getting kills, trying to clear those angles, going for that wall, trying to go for the swing with it. Just trying to do everything. Because of that, the running back is going to be available, but the buy that pays off for the attacking side.
That's a big round to pick up. It's the economy of XSET. We're around the corner from their 10th. Now it looks like generators creeping up on their 6th. And much like we saw from XSET, this B site heavily under fire, only being held by Panday, but a passive hold. And the same flank all the way through spawn, looking to crunch.
It's more than anything, this Cypher for the early info, but is immediately going to back up, play for the retake 5v5.
Yeah, Bunny Bee creeping up. Katsumi, good first kill.
No
Bunny
way.
Bee finds the next. Generators looking to hang on here. The reloads finally come through for everybody.
Yeah.
But Bob is on the spike. Bob is on the spike.
And there's 2 wars going on at the same time. Same thing as last round, but XSET is going to answer right back with the sheriffs. It was the same idea. The wall action of 3 players coming on the flank. And just getting so much value. XSET, they get double digits.
What that? I mean,
There's so much going on, to be fair. I mean, there's
so much.
everything at once.
The good old-fashioned bait and switch there. XSET, they do enough to distract, and I said it should be a 6th instead. A 10th eventually picked up. Generators with sticks and stones, slingshots, baseball bats, whatever they've got moving into this next round. We'll hope to turn the tides, and that's a good start.
Really gonna pick up a Guardian for Tasty, but very quickly Spike gonna get planted.
trail.
Spike already down, so now one more thing to worry about for XSET. Oh, Super Cat trying to make this lurk worth something, and it's only a bit of damage. Alarm bot behind, so we'll be told if anybody comes this way, but nice weapon upgrade. This is who you want it on. It's Tasty.
The arm.
Pick up a second kill. Only spotting just a bit. Knife out, dashes away. Katsumi low HP, now no HP. As the shots from the wall, they land effectively, but Bunny Bee here in response. And again, Bob to hop onto the spike. Up goes the high tide. 2 players, 1 in front, 1 behind. A tap once more, looking to get this one halfway as Jen goes aggressive. The round belongs to Generators.
What are these rounds? Back and forth in the second half. And Bob just having a chance, but the time, the swing, knowing exactly what it was gonna come. But had to go for at least that half before getting anything else done. Just answering, I mean, look at this, one after the other, just going back and forth. And Bunny Bee, I thought she was gonna do it. It really felt like it. Got 2 kills with the Guardian. Seemed like it was gonna be a third one. Creates the delay, but it was just perfect for generators.
Yeah, the team that
it.
is winning the rounds is not the team that should be winning the rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
This back and forth has been so awkward. If we are in for anything, we are in for maybe another goofy one. And yep, Bob wants to get a little goofy silly.
He's gonna get that one, and the buy isn't the greatest, but the setup changes. They had only the Cypher into the B side on the past couple rounds. Now they heavy stack it with 4 players of the defense there, and immediately there's that reaction for generators having to back up. Supercat getting the one here. Spike's gonna go somewhere else.
And they're going to commit the neural theft. Gives away the rotation.
Enemy down.
Oof, good shot. Supercat finally makes good on the promise that I will get my one in this lurk. It
30 seconds
comes
left.
a little bit later, but Bunny B is gone.
There's a Vandal up close, the only one that XSET has.
Beautifully played again by Panda, using the util, almost gets another one. Gen
2
down
HP.
to 2 HP, and unfortunately, Sky, you can't heal yourself. So with 14 seconds, the spike gets planted.
Placing swarm grenade.
Look at
Everybody
Rise,
else,
though.
I mean, Classics, Sheriff, but the Vandal once again trying to be the difference
Nature
maker.
girl down.
Rise immediately shot down by
You should
Supercat.
run.
And I wonder if Panda 8 tosses this rifle over. Obviously been having a strong game, but armorless. So lockdown comes through. They'll look to go aggressive. There's that Vandal. Katsumi right behind it. Bombs on the spike, but sorry, Bud is on the round. 3 kills to the Viper, which brings us within 3.
And it finally stops the back and forth between the two teams as Generator secure 2 in a row. It almost happened. Maybe it would have been a different story for Panda to get that second kill instead of leaving that Sky in 2 HP. Make it a little bit more doable in numbers to work with. But through the smoke with the Vandal, just harder to deal with. Getting closer and closer, but it seems like XSET, they took that comfortable lead. And it is actually the second timeout now for Generators.
Yep, both timeouts used here. Obviously, this time allotted to XSET as well. Try and figure out what's going on. Again, things have been silly goofy. That was, I think, the first of the rounds where the team that had the better weapons should have won. Outside
They win
of,
it. Yeah.
we had pistol round, we had anti-eco, that right there, or we had force up in the anti-eco, so it was basically even there. And then we got the awkward back and forth. So that streak has finally been broken by Generators. They call that timeout, and will now look to deal with the full buy and the reckoning of XSET.
Yes, this should do.
A full buy, but the light shields for XSET. On this, they're gonna go back to the same thing that they were doing at the beginning. Cypher towards B, gets that early info and backs up place for the 5B. Now with the rifle B rifle, it does seem a little more doable, but that's not where this attacking team seems to want to go early on. And this is something that they like to do. They go back and forth.
Yeah, and the reckoning used to get aggressive. Bunny B happy to have this call made. Flashes out, high tide, need to push through it. And everybody from Generators headed for the hills. Alarm bot dealt with, which is a huge piece of utility
Recalling my bot.
to have gone. We'll see how they back away from it, or if they do. XSET, no, just still hot on the heels, pushing through A main.
Very similar to what we saw on the first half, but now in the set of
Obscuring
exit
vision.
for this defense player is going right behind the Seekers. And at this point, you know exactly where the hit is going to end up with 50 seconds. That B control, the Cypher playing so far back, is going to be the flank. Are you expecting it to be 3?
Flash catches a few players. They do sneak away to safety for now. That turret still getting damaged. Band-Aid hoping to get something through the spam, but nobody home. Spike is planted. Domain expansion here on the site. Starry Bun will play inside.
Powers out.
And Supercat finds it first here in the retake. Starry Bun to collect another Generators. Starting to shut it down here as XSET down to their final 2, but Rise is still fighting. This one's not over just yet, but that pit still stands. That Spike It still ticks as both players playing just out of the sight lines. Nice Nova Pulse there to find the stun. A beautiful snake bite, though. Another one at the feet, and Starry Bun does it again.
So close. Starybun gonna take care of it. With this bite, 1 HP was the last 2 players for XSET. Thanks to that Viper Spit. And the IGL is gonna just fine. Oh, these rounds have been so back and forth, and I love seeing that aggression from XSET towards A side. Even using the Harbor ultimate, trying to commit into it with the 3 players on the flank. But again, I feel like it goes back to the conversation when it comes to the ultimates. Generators, if they have the upper hand by far with the lockdown, push speed, with all that delay that they're able to create. And on top of that, you add a player, a duelist like Tasty. And it's so difficult. The gap is closing.
And that gap is closing. XSET added to the list of signed teams that Generators have been able to stretch
I've got your
into
trail.
games. Round 19. A whole lot slower, a lot more patient from both sides.
And XSET did this on the attacking side, but for Generators, there's been kind of that early initiation and adaptation halfway through, depending on the setup and the early info that they're able to get. So it's gonna be once again that change. It's gonna be the B side again.
Go it. Bunny B here stalls that wall. A little more respect. Obviously, Jet Dash is Jet Dash, so they'll make it through with little damage taken. The rest of the team also a bit of chip damage. Cloudburst goes out. Tasty gonna be on the other side. 3 players there. How many do they get? It's absolutely nothing.
Way.
A Sheriff and a Spectre to collect the first couple of scalps, and Panday will do one better to add a 3rd to that tally, although the spike is planted. Generators in an awkward spot. The first of the Nano Swarms already used. Starry Bun up close and personal will take down Panday. But how much more can they get done here? A tap onto the spike once more. Snakebite at the feet. Starry Bun pushes through, dealt with by Bunny B. And Super Cat will try to hang on. The spike still needs to be full diffuse. Classic out, healthy. The Cove is there, and it's just too much to deal with for Generators, as XSET will finally piece together another round.
It is so crazy that before this matchup, we were talking about the eco rounds and how difficult they were for XSET. It was 11%, and now they're just winning them right and left every single time. It's also been the same for Generators, but that round.
Wow.
Could change things out. Now a timeout. Finally, we've seen it on the other side. Now it's time for XSET, and I like it. 2 more rounds are gonna be needed. And that was just a big one to win.
Yeah, respect earned from Generators. XSET, Danimal, and hop into the conversation here. This is not over by any means of the definition of the word, right? How many times do we see in a game that's this back and forth, especially with Generators being the team that have now started to put a couple of rounds in a row? XSET have yet to do that. And so this is where XSET want to make sure that they do not let anything slip. You need 2 more rounds before Generators get 5, and that's going to be the conversation here.
Yeah, the back and forth, the thriftiest teams. And that last one, I think it's what can guarantee the game for XSET. Is a team that is fairly new. Of course, we already talked about Katsumi and Bob previously on Cloud9, having that international experience. But when you're in a new team, still the adaptation, the synergy, everything that you have to adapt to. Now it's connecting it to be able to close this map number 1, starting in the best way possible for the team that is favored on this matchup. And on the other side, using that timeout on the enemy team to get a read, because for Generators, it has been really good. The reads that they've had, now playing so far back. Expecting that aggression from the defense after the timeout.
Yeah, much like the round prior where we saw a lot of respect given, defaults being played. Early in this one, though, we did get a high tide from Bob. That went out towards mid. And it just allowed for kind of an awkward rotation for XSET to work their way through mid and now find themselves in the positions that they're in. And enough time has passed that they'll get another one. Cosmic Divide to also try and help this attack get onto the site. And was Bob spotted? This could be the position of the round. Sorry, but pushes through, finds a kill. Panday on the trade. But Bunny B and the rest of the squad are already here. Tasty to find a kill of their own. The spike has now fallen. Panday refuses to give up this position as the wall falls. So does Katsumi. But Tasty will now try and fight on this position. A 1v2. Spike just out of reach. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of time left on the clock with 750 credits. With 98 HP.
10 seconds left.
10 seconds. A dog, a stun. It's all too much here. This round belongs to XSET. And Panday slows things down to make sure of it.
One enemy remaining.
We'll be playing for the time, and that is 12 for XSET.
Match point.
The moment they've been waiting for now, trying to close it out. And again, it hasn't been clean. It's been back and forth, but I think the reads between the two teams have been so good. Even into the early round that we saw here for Generators, expecting that aggression after the timeout. They wait just a little bit. They wait those maybe 40 seconds. Then they go for the plan towards B, and it just doesn't work out. A couple Bulldogs, a couple light shields as well. The buy isn't the greatest for the attacking side.
And that's
Bob with the operator.
Yep, you just got bobbed, Chow. Just got bobbed. You know, people would think I'm a lot funnier if they could actually hear you laugh, but the noise gate, I think, cuts it off. At least for me. People would think you're a lot funnier. Unfortunately, not a funny round here for Generators. The funny ult is out once more. Op shots does not land. Good jump peek. Super Cat. This has been Super Cat's playground. Unfortunately, not going their way as the defense fights their way forward. Tasty caught on the leg earlier in the round with the yacht. Will try with the knives, but it's a flawless finish here for XSET in map 1.
It was a flawless start and a flawless finish now for XSET. Map number 1 going their way. And again, if you're an XSET fan, if you know these players, it is absolutely expected, but definitely the other side putting up a fight, making it very, very close. And it was just so tough because it depended so much on the economy at the end. When you lose the second round and when it continues to go back and forth, you need that consistency to close it out. And for Generators, it just wasn't there.
Yep, just not there. But as we said in the middle of that one, I believe the scoreline was 10-8, and it's another team, right? Another signed team that Generators can say, hey, we pushed these guys to the brink. A very, very close map 1, which leads me to believe we're going to have a very close series here in this one, as that was XSET's map pick. Obviously, we've got the map pick of Generators coming up next, but before that, a break in the analyst desk to break it all down.
Red Bull gives you wings.